horror fans, or I should say wrestling fans. Once again, it's the Horror Miser Monty G. Yes, it's time to do my results video from last night's pretty exciting and some very good storytelling, and a surprise heel turn from last night's WWE Fastlane, the final pay-per-view before the road to Wrestlemania. Let's see how well I did. Now, this was a pretty good, exciting card. Some stories, some matches that were booked last minute. There were some changes on the card. While it didn't mesh story-wise, there was some pretty good excitement in the card itself. And I thought it did very well. I thought it was booked very well as far as how the matches is concerned. We obviously see some seeds that were planted on the show, what other matches we could see for WrestleMania. But let's see how well I did. Now, for the pre-show, we had the New Day take on Rusev and Shinsuke Nakamura. It was a nice matchup. We didn't know this match was coming on. I put this in last minute, so story-wise, it really didn't mean anything. But all four participants did very well. Eventually, the New Day did win the event. And since I did predict this leaves me at 0-0. Now, for the SmackDown Tag Team Championship, we had the Usos versus The Miz and Shane McMahon. And this was a very surprising matchup. Now, I didn't surprise me that the Usos won because I predicted that they would win, but I actually picked the wrong person to turn heel. It was actually Shane McMahon that actually turned heel. He viciously attacked The Miz after losing the title, beat him to a pulp, and then grabbed his father. The Miz's father was out there, and pulled him out on the whatchamacallit and just told him, look at your son, this is your son. So obviously we're going to have a matchup at WrestleMania, which I predicted between The Miz and Shane McMahon. But The Miz obviously is going to be the favorite here, and I believe he's going to get a huge pop-up. And it's nice to see The Miz as a fan favorite because I believe he could be a very popular character. I believe he could be a good fan favorite here because I believe his show with his lovely wife is doing very well. They're starting the second season with The Miz and Mrs. And I think it'd be nice for The Miz to actually be a fan favorite. So I'm now 1-0 for the night. No surprise here for the SmackDown Women's Championship, Asuka versus Mandy Rose. And Mandy Rose tried her best. There was obviously some interference as Sonya Deville tried her best, but eventually she actually caused Mandy Rose the matchup when Asuka hit her with a stiff kick and pinned her to retain the title. Obviously, Sonya Deville was trying to plead her case with Mandy Rose up into the top. It was an okay match, but nothing really exciting. And again, I feel sorry for Asuka because, with all the hype and the praises being hooped upon by Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair and Ronda Rousey, Asuka does deserve her chance to shine, but unfortunately, she's just not being shined right now. But I'm now 2-0. Yes. Now, earlier in the show, Kofi Kingston and the rest of the New Day barged into the McMahon family McMahon family locker room, begging for Kofi to get a match. And eventually, he thought that he was going to be in a match between Daniel Bryan and Kevin Owens. But unfortunately, he was put into a match between The Bar and Kofi Kingston. And while Kofi Kingston held his own, The Bar just really beat the crap out of him, and he won the matchup. It was nice to see Kofi Kingston once again shine, but I think they're just all preparing him to face Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania. But since I didn't predict this matchup, I'm still 2-0. For the Raw Tag Team Championship, we had the Revival versus Aleister Black and Ricochet versus Clark Gable and Bobby Roode. This was a nice matchup here. It was nice how they showed how strong Aleister Black and Ricochet was. And Ricochet, he really tore the roof off. He had some incredible spots in this matchup, being some real nice spots to show how athletic he is. And I thought they almost stole the show. Now, of course, the Revival did win the matchup. They retained the titles. They wound up pinning, I think, Clark Gable. They knew they were not going to pin Aleister Black and Ricochet because they're really coming on strong. It was nice to see them show how strong they were. So obviously they're going to have a match at WrestleMania, maybe between the Revival for the Raw Tag Team Championship. It would be nice to see if they do that. But once again, I did pick the Revival, so now I am 3-0. Yes. Another match that got added on here, a Fatal 4-Way match for the United States Championship. We have the current champion Samoa Joe versus oh boy, I can't pronounce this guy's name. I got it, I'll get his name right. R-Truth and Rey Mysterio. Now all four guys did some nice spots in there. I even like R-Truth. He did some nice spots imitating John Cena, but eventually, I think Rey Mysterio did this. You got to give Rey Mysterio credit. He's 44 years old and he's still doing high risk maneuvers and did his nice hurricanrana off the top rope. I think he did it twice. And he can still has his work cut out for him. He can still put on a nice show. Eventually, Samoa Joe went on ahead and put him in the Kakuna Clutch, and he eventually retained his title. And I didn't bet this match because I didn't expect it, so I'm still 3-0. For the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, we have the current champions Sasha Banks and Bayley, the Boston Hook Connection, versus Nia Jax and Tamina. Now, of course, obviously, the two big women put on a strong show. They put some nice strength moves in the matchup. But eventually, the reigning tag team champions won the Boston Hunt Connection. They won the title. But it was after the match that we see something in play here. Now, Beth Phoenix, WWE Hall of Famer Beth Phoenix, she was announcing at ringside, and Tamina got into Beth's face. They had to stare down for a while until Beth Phoenix just co-cocked her. And then, unfortunately, Nia Jax got involved. They started beating the crap out of Beth Phoenix, and then Natalya came in because that's her friend. As I was saying, Natalya tried to come in and defend her friend, Beth Phoenix, but then Nia Jax and Tamina beat the crap out of her. So obviously we're going to see a matchup between Natalya and Beth Phoenix. I believe Beth Phoenix will probably have one more matchup and help her friend face Nia Jax and Tamina at WrestleMania, while we have another tag team and challenge Sasha Banks and Bayley. And but that makes me now 4-0. Yes, I'm killing it. For the WWE World Heavyweight Champion, you had defending champion Daniel Bryan take on Kevin Owens and Mustafa Ali. Yes, Vince McMahon said that we will have a triple threat matchup, but it will not be Kofi Kingston. It will be Mustafa Ali. That was actually a pretty good matchup here. I like Kevin Owens. He slimmed down some. He's trying to be a fan favorite. It was a nice matchup. All three men got on their spots. There was this one spot that Mustafa Ali came off on the top rope and did this real nice spin move, landed on his feet a couple of times. But at the end, it was Daniel Bryan who retained his title. I think Mustafa Ali was trying to do some type of move, and Daniel Bryan caught him with a running knee and eventually pinned him to retain his title. And now that makes me 5-0. Yes. The match everyone was waiting for. We have Becky Lynch versus Charlotte Flair, with the stipulation that if Becky Lynch wins the matchup, she will be added on to the main event for WrestleMania between Charlotte Flair and Ronda Rousey. If she loses this, she's out. I believe just out of the match. I don't think she was just out of the matchup. She won't be in that matchup. Now, obviously, Becky Lynch is still faking doing the knee injury. Said her legs are still hurt, and it was pretty good. Nothing real physical. Nothing real physical was done. And she held her own for a while. It was at the time when Flair had her in the figure 4 leg lock. Then Ronda Rousey comes out, bypasses Flair, and then hits Becky Lynch. So Becky Lynch wins by disqualification, and now she's added on to the matchup. Wow, what great booking. Now, I know people are probably saying, wait a minute, that's kind of a cheap victory. Now, you have to understand how WWE is booking this right now. You know that you want to see these three ladies. They're going to main event WrestleMania. It'll be the first time you're going to see women main event WrestleMania. They did not want anything to tease anything in that matchup. Yeah, they did little nice spots in this matchup, but they want to save them for a WrestleMania. So I have no problem doing how they book the matchup. You know, have her still fake still play on the knee injury right there. Do some nice spots so she doesn't look weak, because you don't want her looking weak. You know, make her still look strong. and you still make Charlotte look strong. So I have no problem having Ronda Rousey because she's a heel now. So obviously she wants to do what she wants to do to Becky Lynch. So that's why she hit her. So I have no problem with how they booked the matchup. So now everything is set. You now have Ronda Rousey versus Charlotte Flair versus Becky Lynch for the Raw Women's Championship, which I believe will main event WrestleMania. And the final match of the night, we have the reunion of the Shield, Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins, and Roman Reigns versus Baron Corbin, Bobby Lashley, and Drew McIntyre. But this was a wild matchup, and it was expected to be a wild matchup. It was a very physical matchup. You could tell how physical both teams were. There was one time that, Drew McIntyre and Bobby Lashley were about to do the Shield power bomb on, I think it was Seth Rollins, but they both intervened. They eventually did the power bomb to Drew McIntyre on the announcers table. They eventually cornered Baron Corbin and did the power bomb on him, and they got the tag. And of course, the Shield won. So it was nice to see how they booked that. Everyone knew that the Shield was going to win. More than likely, that this will be the probably the final appearance of these characters together with the supposed. Now people think they could be just a work. But a lot of people had suspected that Dean Ambrose was going to leave next month and pursue other endeavors. But now people might think that could be just a work. We don't know what's happening right now. But this could be the last appearance we could see of these three characters. And it was nice outing. It was nice to see Roman Reigns back in the ring, and since he had left since October. So it was nice to see it all together. And that made me a perfect 7. And oh, wow. A clean sweep. Yeah, that's right. I did well, guys. So, my wrestling fans, how well did you do? How well did you do? What do you think about Fastlane? Did you think this card was booked very well? Did you like the heel turn of Shane McMahon? Do you like the fact that they're going to have a tag match between Beth Phoenix and Natalya with Tamina and Nia Jax? Leave your comments on your comment section below and tell me what you thought about last night's Fastlane. Well, and this is it. It is now time to get ready for WrestleMania. Yes, this was the last pay-per-view before WrestleMania. We have 27 days left before WrestleMania hits. Got less than a month. So now we just wait to see what other matches that we're going to have. We know we're going to have, for the Raw Women's Championship, we're going to have Becky Lynch versus Charlotte Flair versus Ronda Rousey. We know we're going to have Seth Rollins versus Brock Lesnar for the Universal Championship. Obviously, we're going to have other matches added on. But those are the two main event matches that we know we already have booked already. And I'm pretty sure we're going to have other matches booked, probably starting tonight on Raw. I'm pretty sure Shane didn't say anything at all as the reason why he turned on The Miz. But I'm pretty sure he'll have something to say maybe on SmackDown Live tomorrow night. So that's my video for today, guys. Hope you did enjoy it. And if you did, please give it a thumbs up because it does help the channel out a lot. And once again, if this is your first time here, please hit that subscriber button and ring that notification bell. That way you can come and enjoy the horror experience with me, the Horror Miser Monty G. And as always, all my social media links will be down in the description box below as well. Once again, my name is Lamont Smith, better known as the Horror Miser Monty G. And always remember, horror rules. Now, before I end tonight up, something interesting happened last night. My good friend Dave Maggot's channel was terminated because some stupid-ass trolls said his channel was spam. Luckily, thanks to some intervention on himself and, of course, backed up by some good people in the horror community, his channel has been restored. But I'm glad YouTube finally found the error of the way, so I'm glad Dave has his channel back up. I'm going to leave a link down in the description box below if you have not subscribed to Dave Maggot's channel. He's a very good friend of mine. It's just sad that happened to him, but, stupid-ass trolls, what are you going to do? So, The Rock, take us home. We're out.
If you're